Okay, hopefully this is recording right. Let me see here. Delete that one. I uploaded one. I always forget that I have to change. There we go. Sounds great. Okay. I have to change my microphone because by default it wants to record from the camera and not this. So, anyway, I just wanted to give kind of an update, I guess, of what's going on and a praise report, I guess. So I got a job, and I've had a lot of jobs in my life. I'm 34, and I've had a lot of jobs since I started this channel. So, I guess I'm kind of a job hopper in a way. I don't know, but I want to find something that's going to stick or, you know, whatever. Then this could be it, and I want this to be something that I can fall back on for the rest of my life, but we'll see. That's always kind of the intention going into things, but anyway, I want to talk about what's been happening kind of the last couple of months, but also I'll just get right to the point. And I have a job with the United States Postal Service now, which is pretty awesome to me, but it's a job that anybody can get. If you apply, they'll basically hire anybody. So it's not really like a special, thing. But I am grateful. I live in a small town, and I actually know the postmaster in a way. I mean, her one of her kids, two of her kids went to school in the same school as me, so I don't know her like extremely well. But hey, thanks. I got a job as a mailman, so actually it's a rural carrier assistant, so it's what you call an RCA, and I will be driving my own vehicle, delivering mail in the country, basically outside of town. So yeah, thanks, man. I'm going to start training on Monday. So it's been a long process. The hiring process is insane. I've done it, started it like well over a month ago, and so they have a city carrier assistant and they have a rural carrier assistant. So a CCA and RCA. Those are two of the main entry carrier positions for the United States Postal Service. And the city carrier, they're the ones who walk in town, and they deliver the mail. Basically, you see them walk in, and they get the most hours, so they have a pretty steady job usually, even as assistants. And so the RCA doesn't always get as many hours. And so originally I wanted the CCA because I've heard you make a lot of money with all the hours, and I thought I've gained some weight and doing all the walking would be really good. Unfortunately, somebody else took that position, so then I applied for the RCA. And another reason why I applied for the city carrier assistant is because, well, for one, that was like the first thing that I saw that was available. And then when I started researching, I thought, yeah, that sounds good for a lot of reasons. And also because I've had two DUIs, unfortunately. One when I was like 17 and one when I was like 25. Basically, when I started this channel was like when I was recovering from my second DUI. So I thought, that's something they probably look down on, but it's been a while. It's been like 7 years or longer since that happened. It was in 2013, so it's been, yeah, I guess 8 years or so. So um, I thought maybe since I applied for the city carrier, I wouldn't be driving a lot, but they still do drive the mail vehicles. But I wasn't sure what all involved. But anyway, that position got taken, so I applied for the RCA. I figured, okay, I'm going to apply for anything. Now, one thing that can suck about delivering the mail is that you have to do it in all weather. So you have to do it in the snow, you have to do it in the heat, you have to do it in the rain and the wind. It doesn't matter, the mail needs to be delivered. And so one of the good things about an RCA is that generally, my specific job would be to deliver the mail in the country, and I'll be using my own vehicle. And so, for one, the mail vehicles that they provide are not cooled. They have heat, I guess, but they don't have air, so it can be very hot in the summer. But riding in my own vehicle, I can turn on the air, I can turn on the radio. So there's a lot of nice things about that. And a drawback about that, obviously, besides wearing down my vehicle, is that I also have to drive in the center of my vehicle because my vehicle is a left hand driving. And you have to be able to reach out the right window and put the mail in the mailboxes. So you have to have like a right, you either have to have like a right side steering wheel vehicle, right side driver, or you're gonna have to like sit in the middle of your vehicle and drive, which I haven't even tried yet, but it's gonna be weird. But I've sat in the middle, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be easy for me. It'll be fine, I think. But because I'm a little bit tall, and so I can reach the steering wheel and I can reach out the window. If I'm sitting in the middle, I can still keep things under control, but I'll have to use my left foot for the gas and the steering. And I have a stick shift gear shifter like in the middle. That's kind of in the way, so it might not be the most comfortable thing, but I think it's all gonna work out. So that's okay. But I'm excited about it. But so I've tried for the season originally, and that got taken. And so then I tried for the RCA, and there's a long process, and I don't know if I want to go through every step, but you basically go through this process through emails like human resources. They send you like an offer for the job. Are you interested? You accept it. Then they do like a background check on like your driving record and right hand steering. We drive on the side of the road. Yeah, it's the opposite here. So, but our mail vehicles are right hand side because we put the mail out the right hand side of the window. So, are your mail vehicles on the left side then? Yeah. I think your mail vehicles would have to be on the left side then, so it'd be like the opposite of us. So, but it's a long process. There's like two background checks that you have to go through, and I had to go to an office and get my fingerprints taken, and I had to go to the local office and fill out paperwork. That was one of the final things after I did the fingerprints. And every little step that you have to take is spaced out like between a week or two. And so a lot of time, I'm paranoid of, is my background going to be against me? So there's all this time I'm waiting, I'm needing a job. And it just took forever. But thankfully, thank God. And, because of the holidays and stuff, that delays things. I think because of the whole COVID stuff, that's delayed things. But we finally got to the point to where I'm going to start. So it's going to be interesting. I'll be doing a lot of different stuff, but basically what it involves, and it's cool that there's a lot of people who have made videos online, and there's a lot of websites and forums where you can read, where people can give their advice and their tips, and they can show, instructions of how they do things. But basically, in the morning, you sort the mail, and then the rest of the day, you're delivering it. Another good thing about the RCA job is that you're paid, your routes are like evaluated. So if they have a certain time for your route that they expect you to be finished by, and they give you, plenty of time, they take a lot of things into consideration. So let's say that I had an 8-hour route and I was able to get done in 6 hours, then I'd still get paid for 8 hours. So that's a good thing. Also, I get paid extra for the mileage. 2010 when I arrived in LA, it was a shock for me. And 2017 when I came to the USA, it was fine. They deliver by bike. They do vans. They stop and deliver parcels. Oz Post. Yeah. I'm sure they use some bikes and stuff in areas around here too, and vans. Um, it'd be a shock for me to go to LA, period. I mean, the LA highways and the interstates and stuff have got to be insane. I've seen videos of it. I've never been there, but I can just imagine. The traffic would be scary, crazy. Australia Post on bikes on the footpath. Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's a lot like us. I mean, you have. It's going to be interesting. So I applied at some other places too. I applied at three places. Well, four. There were three places that I was waiting on forever, and they all had a long process too. That was a problem. You stayed in Hollywood. Wow, that's pretty cool. Did you see the Hollywood sign? L.A., California. Um, so I applied at Dollar General grocery store, which I worked at Walmart for a while, and I liked Walmart. But when I went to Dollar General, I've actually been denied from a couple Dollar Generals before this one, and I got denied at this one too. And it took forever because there was problems with the application, and their store was really bad here. They had a lot of people leave at once, and so they had a new manager, and it was chaotic. And she basically told me like, if you want the job, you can have it. And it's like, yeah, okay, I want the job. So let's fill out the application. She said I filled out the wrong application, so I had to fill out another one, and it kind of took forever, you know, like a month or something, until finally we kind of got things figured out. And then I got sent this paperwork to fill out for a background check, and then they denied me for my background check. They denied me years ago in different towns for my background check. Apparently, they just hold stuff against you for life. Even though I don't have any felonies, I have some misdemeanors from when I was younger. I thought, they're misdemeanors. It was a long time ago. Usually they consider things like that. And I worked at Walmart. I worked everywhere else, but Dollar General, some reason they've got an issue with my charges. So, oh well. But the post office has given me a chance. So the other place that I applied was a local warehouse, which would be a very physical work. But that process took a long time too. I got an interview. In most jobs, I've had a lot of jobs, and most jobs that you get, you apply, and then like a week or two later, you get an interview. Maybe you'll call and talk to the manager. You'll let them know you're interested and stuff. You'll get an interview, and then a week or two later they'll call you and say you're hired, or maybe you won't hear from them and you call them, and they may say, well, the position's been filled or whatever. It's usually simple. All these places just took forever, and they had like multiple steps and stuff, and everything just took longer. And all these places are hurting for people too. They're all like really desperate to hire new people, but it's like they shoot themselves in the foot. The past is the past, all under the blood of Christ Jesus. Amen. I mean, as long as there's been a real change in your life, which I think there has, and I'm not perfect, but a lot of my stuff was drug related, and I haven't, done that for so long. So, but I did do it, some years of my life, and some people might look at that and say, this person has a pattern of whatever. But for me, I think that a lot of jobs don't really care about misdemeanors. They're more concerned with felonies. Like if you've been to prison, usually a felony is, a more serious crime. And that makes more sense to me for them to consider those more. It's not that they shouldn't consider any misdemeanors. And especially, if it's a driving job and stuff, and if you've had DUIs in the past, I could definitely see that being a concern. But with Dollar General, just a little grocery store, Walmart hires anybody. I don't see how Dollar General. It's just the background check that they have are really strict. Whatever, I don't know. But praise God, it's an answered prayer that I got the job with the post office, because that's the main one that I wanted. Um, but this one with the warehouse, it took forever too, because they wanted me to do a physical, and they said at this physical I'd have to do lifting and stuff, because the warehouse job is like lifting a lot of boxes all day long, putting them on a forklift. And And I thought, okay, I can lift stuff. It's no big deal, whatever. And so I went to this physical, and it was like a full physical. Like they checked my ears, they checked, my mouth, my eyes, made me move all my joints and everything. Well, they wanted to check my eyesight, and I have a lazy right eye. I've always had it. When I was real young, I had a contact, and I did not like wearing it. And I wish that I would have worn it. Maybe it would have made my eye better over time. But my eye is pretty blurry in my right eye, but my left eye makes up for it. I can make out a lot of things with my right eye, but I can't tell like details from far away. It's hard for me to read like fine print from far away and stuff. Stuff that's up close and everything. I can see, everything, but yeah, it's anyway. They had a problem with that, so they wanted me to go to the eye doctor and have the eye doctor tell them it was okay. So I hadn't been to the eye doctor in a long time. I went to the eye doctor and they made me some glasses, which I don't really need, but they could help a little bit. But I just got these glasses. So I was going to wear these for the video, but then you see like the reflection. So, but yeah, I probably won't be wearing these a lot, honestly. But, you know, they said my sight was pretty fine. Um, and so I went back to the physical and they wanted me to go to the warehouse. And I went to the warehouse and they pointed at all these signs and they asked me if I could read the signs like danger signs, like warning, like watch your step or whatever. As long as I can read all the warning signs at work, then I'm fine, which I could. I could read all of it fine. So I went back to the physical to do the lifting part. Now, the lifting part, they wanted to monitor your heart while you're doing it. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, man, this is like a lot to get a job. I've never had to go through this much to get a job. Um, and they wanted my heart rate to be under 100 resting, like to even begin doing the workout. They wanted it to be under 100. Now I had an energy drink that day, and I don't know if that made it, higher or whatever, but it was a little over 100. So they gave me some water, and I rested, and finally, it went down to 80 or whatever, and we started doing the exercise and stuff, and I started lifting, and I was lifting like 50 pounds, putting it on a shelf, and it was exhausting, but my heart rate was going up. She wanted it to be under 159 while I was lifting, and it ended up going up to like 170, 175. So we stopped, and she's like, if it goes down within a couple of minutes, it goes under 159, then we can continue. And it didn't. It went down, but I guess by the time it went down to that, it was, she was already like, okay, we can't continue today. So my heart rate was high for whatever reason. Um, so I'm gonna have a doctor's appointment, and I don't know if there's really anything wrong with there, or if they're just really strict or what. But so I'm gonna figure that out. And working at the warehouse is still a possibility. I applied for a part time there, and I'm not sure how many hours I'll be getting with the post office. So, but I probably won't go to the warehouse. It's probably just not going to happen. But it's still a possibility. But all those jobs took forever for me to get any answers, and that's kind of prevented me from wanting to make videos and from studying the Bible more and stuff, because it's just every day. I'm always hoping like every week, like I'll hear from this job or I'll hear from this job or whatever, and maybe it was just a little something like come in for this part of the hiring process, and then I wait another week or two and then do this, and then it was like I'm always just waiting, like when am I going to start? Like any of these jobs, like they all told me basically you have the job, like. So the only one that came through was the post office, thank God. So originally when I quit my last job, it was a terrible job for a lot of reasons. I couldn't handle it. I quit because I heard the local prison, and I heard, the prison's not a physical job. There's a lot of stress involved. There's a lot of crazy stuff involved, but I've heard, it's not physically stressful really, and it pays good money and it's close, but their hiring process too takes like over a month. They send in your application and they have to get it approved and everything, and then they hire people at random, and so I still haven't heard from them. But so in between, already, kind of relying on that as the big thing, I came across the post office and I applied there. And the more that I studied and the more that I thought about it, because I helped with UPS for like 6 years during Christmas, which is really, not totally anything like it. I mean, kind of. I was just a helper. I just ran packages to doors, but I did use the scanner and I did some different things. There's kind of some similarities in my mind. So I'm like, the post office is going to be totally new to me, but there are some similarities there to that. But uh, the more I thought about it, I thought, that's way better than working in a prison dealing with prisoners. And it's not going to really be a majorly physical job either. I mean, if I'm helping out in town, delivering and stuff, yeah, there can be a lot of walking. You could have to lift packages right onto the doors, but really it's like your speed and your organization and being able to sort the mail in the morning, efficiently and to do everything right like that. So that will come with time, but thank God. Thank God. Oh, I feel like I can breathe now. I feel like I can relax a little more. So it's been almost a couple months that I've been without work, and I haven't really been enjoying all of it. I wish that I could have. You know, it's not like I haven't enjoyed any of it, but there hasn't really been like any income or anything. So it's just a lot of worrying and waiting and being disappointed a lot. But I did enjoy the 4th of July with my mom. We went to the local fair and we saw a demolition derby and we watched the fireworks. And so thank God I got to enjoy July 4th with my mom. Last year they didn't have the fair because of COVID. So that was really nice. I've been getting into hockey this year, so I watched the Stanley Cup finals, but my team lost. I was hoping for the Montreal Canadiens to win, but the Tampa Lightning are just an amazing team. So it was their second win, the Stanley Cup. So, but yeah, I need to get back into studying the Bible more and making videos. But it's all been waiting on these jobs. So I just thought I'd make that video and give an update. And I would like to, give an update about, how the job is going and how I like it or how I'm adjusting to it or whatever in the next week or two. I'll be going through the training for like 2 weeks. And, before long after that, I'll be starting being put to work in town. So, but I'm glad that you joined me here, man. So I'll probably just leave it at that. I could go on, but uh, I'm just excited for the post office. So it pays pretty good, but I don't know how steady the hours are going to be. I know around Christmas time I'll get tons of hours. I know at the beginning here I'm going to get some pretty good hours with the training. And, the postmaster says that they desperately need help, so I'll probably get some enough hours, I'm sure, hopefully. But yeah. So another thing is, like I said, it's like an assistant thing. It's not a career. Like I have to wait until one of the rural carriers retires to get a career, which could take a while. But she said a lot of them they're all in their 50s basically, and there's one RCA above me who would get the position first if they stayed, whatever. So, but that doesn't mean a whole lot to me. If it takes forever, that's fine. The main thing about the career position is the retirement. I won't be getting money put into my retirement or whatever until that happens, I guess. I won't get maybe the best benefits that they give. Until then, I'll have some benefits. Um, and I won't maybe not necessarily have guaranteed full time, but at the same time, I'll probably get a lot of hours. And if I do good and everything, I'll have the option to go to other towns around me and help them and pick up hours if that's really what I wanted. If I really just wanted more money, more hours. So, uh, but but yeah, it could take me 5, 10 years or something to become to the career position. But I think that's fine with me. Once you make it in a career there, then you've like really got it made because you have your own route full time. Basically, you have like all the benefits, you have all the seniority and everything, um, and then it should really be like easy peasy at that point. So anyway, I don't know. I've got until Monday to start training, so it's Friday tonight. I've got Saturday and Sunday to relax and to get ready. Oh, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be lots of mail, lots of packages. It's probably gonna be overwhelming. But I couldn't imagine doing it in like a large city. Like I'm so blessed to live in a small town, and that's what I think is going to make this job great. I'm working in town, even though I'll be driving outside of town, but be getting paid for my driving. But uh, there's going to be a lot less mail volume than there would be in the bigger cities. It's going to be overwhelming as it is. I'm not saying that it won't be, but it's just a madhouse. And because you read what people think about the post office, like what they think about working there, and a lot of people are frustrated with it. But you'll find out like they live in the big cities and stuff, and it's like, well, that's totally understandable. Like it's probably a madhouse there. All right. Anyway, thank God. Wait until Christmas. Yeah, yeah. Richard B. I don't think I've ever seen you on here before. Do you work for the post office? Yeah. It also snows here in Illinois during the winter, so not always by Christmas, but possibly. Yeah, that'll be the money though. I mean, if I'm ever concerned about getting extra hours or whatever, I know when Christmas comes, like I'll get the money. And just a couple of years ago, I was working at Casey's on like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, or even more. And then I was working UPS Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and I liked that, and I liked the extra money. So, I mean, I think it'll be great. I could turn the heat on in my vehicle. I could have on some Christmas tunes and pretend that I'm Santa Claus. Oh, I'll probably hate it when it comes. Yeah. You think that Casey's is from Illinois, huh? There is some in Iowa and maybe Missouri. I don't know. There is some in some other states, but yeah. I worked at Casey's for a couple of years overnight, and I liked it, but it got me kind of I don't know. It got me kind of down with some of the people that would come in on the overnights, the drunks and the drug addicts. And not only that, but there was a constantly people leaving and stuff, and you make friends with people, and then like you're working with like nobody that you know anymore, really. It's crazy. So I was pretty stable there for a while, and then I left that place, and then it's been more of a job roller coaster since. So I was stable at Walmart for a little while. Unfortunately, things happened there. That was also through this whole COVID time, which I'm so happy about that with the post office too, because our post office, they don't, care if you wear a mask or whatever. And being in my own vehicle while I'm delivering and everything, I won't be wearing a mask. And the job that I quit a couple months ago was a meat packing plant. They had very strict COVID rules, and it was so depressing and insane working there. Like they wanted, they have hallways everybody walks through, and they had people who would constantly remind you to stay 6 feet apart, and they would even walk around with a stick that was 6 feet. They'd be like, "Make sure you're staying 6 feet apart. Make sure you're staying 6 feet apart." And everybody had to wear masks. Everybody had to sanitize their hands like 24/7. Of course, you had to get your temperature taken when you were coming in. In the cafeteria, you could only sit like diagonally, and they had like these plexiglass separators, and you had like separators on the line between you and your coworkers. There was like separators where you couldn't even see each other working next to each other, and it was just insane. It was insane, and it was depressing, and I imagine that the post office is going to feel way more free. Another good thing about the RCA job is that I don't have to wear a uniform. So, which I think it would be really cool to have the post office uniform, but it does kind of suck having to wear a uniform. Um, I can go in gym shorts, and a t-shirt and deliver the mail in my own vehicle. Had one down the street from where I lived in Illinois after my wife passed. I moved back there for a few years, never again. Yeah, I live close to Western Illinois University. You know where Macomb is? The area that I live in is not so bad. I couldn't imagine living like close to Chicago. But yeah, Illinois sucks in general. It does. I like my town that I live in, but Illinois is a liberal state. Got a lot of issues. Yeah. I liked working at Casey's though, but I don't think that I could ever go back to that. Not the one that I worked at anyway. Uh, Hopefully this is gonna stick. Hopefully this will be it. You lived outside of Joliet, yeah. Yeah, I bet that's pretty crazy. Probably a crazy area. All I know about Joliet is that the prison, and I've went by it when I took a train from live in Springfield, Illinois. One time I took it and it goes right by that prison, I think. But it's crazy. The employee shortage or whatever that was going on like months ago, maybe still. I mean, and a lot of people say it's because so many people are getting money on unemployment. They're getting extra money on unemployment, and so many people have applied, and they're like approving everybody for unemployment. Um, so a lot of fast foods or little grocery stores or whatever, they couldn't keep people, and they're having to shut down or change their hours because they just couldn't keep the staff. It goes all over the news, and that some McDonald's, places are raising their prices. I mean, not their prices, but raising their wages. And it's one thing that I'm kind of glad that it didn't work out with Walmart in the end too, is because when I first worked there, I worked unloading the truck basically, and then I switched to fresh, which was meat and produce, and it was like an upgrade in a lot of ways, but it was a little bit of a pay raise because the minimum wage was like 10, you know, 10.50 or whatever, I don't know, but maybe it was 11, maybe minimum wage was close to 11 or something, I don't know. But when I did the fresh, it was like 12, so it was like a dollar upgrade. So I was like, cool. And there was a lot of advantages, plus a little extra money. But then after and they gave out COVID bonuses. Walmart gave out bonuses and stuff during all this, which was really nice and great. And then, kind of at the tail end of all this, they decided to give raises to like almost every department except for the fresh. So I think a lot of them are making like $15 an hour now, but I would have still been making 12, like doing meat and produce. I think I would be pretty mad about that because it was a physical job too. Pontiac and Joliet, both known for the prisons, way out here in Arizona. Yeah, the prisons are known in Arizona. Are you somebody who goes to Stephen Anderson's church in Tempe? My grandpa, my dad's dad, lived in Arizona, and my dad's mom was remarried. So my grandpa on his side that I knew my whole life was actually like my step grandpa. But my real grandpa, who lived in Arizona, he was like a drunk basically. So I only met him like once, maybe once or twice when he came up to visit us. And not saying that necessarily like he was a bad guy or anything. Like I mean, I enjoyed him when he was there, I guess, but like I never, knew him. But I don't know where exactly he lived in Arizona, but he died in like a car accident or something a long time ago. But I always think about that when I think about Arizona, and then I think about Steven Anderson. And then I think about like the Roadrunner. Your taxes back there suck. Your winters are freezing. The only redeeming quality about that state is the fishing. Wow. Yeah, that's something I've been wanting to do too. I was thinking maybe since I'll start making some money soon with the post office, I might be able to get a fishing rod. And just because my dad actually has a pond, and I don't know, he said something about all his fish died in the winter, and I don't know, but anyway, it's like I can fish, get a pole for my dad or whatever, but it's like I want to just buy all my own stuff, and I want to buy like a tackle box and some of the basics, and then use my own equipment. Like I'm a retired assayer. I test rock for mineral content. I've never heard of that before. It sounds pretty cool. Guess that's something that you got to go to school for, huh? Illinois. Yeah, I don't know if there's too much that I can say that I really love about Illinois myself. I do like all the Lincoln stuff. I like the fact that Abraham Lincoln grew up here. So when I was living in Springfield, I enjoyed, visiting his home and the museum and all that stuff. Guess I think Abraham Lincoln to me is probably one of the best things about Illinois. It has some history. Hmm. So, do you ever go to Stephen Anderson's church, Richard? Or are you close to him? You go underground and take samples, a lot of chemistry. That just makes me think of. I could just go off on these rabbit trails, but Yeah, I've been watching a lot of TV lately, and I watch it with my mom. But I saw that Cyndi Lauper has her own reality show today. I never knew that. I've been a big fan of Cyndi Lauper's music, and so I watched this reality show, and her husband took her to like a rock specialist, like basically like a tarot card reader kind of. These people like these spiritualists, they use rocks, like there's energy in the rocks and stuff. It's crazy. Like she must be really nuts. I wish that she was a Christian, but I don't think so. I guess she's actually like a feminist and she's really big into the LGBTQ and all that. What church? You don't know who Steven Anderson is? Have you never heard of Steven Anderson? I'm surprised you'd even come across my channel if you don't know who Steven Anderson is. I mean, if you're interested in the King James Bible at all, you'd pretty much come across Steven Anderson. His church is called the Faithful Word Baptist Church in Tempe, Arizona. I don't go to a church myself, and I've considered a lot going to it in these towns, but in my town, I mean, there's like a handful of churches. Uh, in a lot of these small areas that I live in, all these towns are small. All the surrounding towns are small. Any churches that they have are like dead, basically, except for your popular non non-denominational, hipster modern type church like your college church or whatever, which is really not the kind of church that I'd want to go to. So if I wanted to go to a good old Bible believing Baptist church, it'd be like me and a couple other people, basically, like elderly couples or something. Like I don't know. I mean, nothing against that, but it's just I don't know. I wish there was more thriving King James Bible believing churches around here, but there's not. One that I was going to for a while, I liked the sermons and I liked the teachings and stuff for the most part, but there's always, and then with the small churches, I mean, even with, I'm not saying that like huge churches are good, and that's like, I'm complaining about it either way it goes, right? But it's like, there's the one man pastor, like God complex, like the Pope, complex. Like, I don't know. Like, the pastor is supposed to be like the leader and stuff. Like, I agree with that. I understand that it's biblical and everything. But, to what extent? I don't know. There's a lot that goes on in these smaller churches. Arizona. I used to always want to visit Arizona because I always think of the desert and stuff, but I'm really interested in wanting to visit New Mexico because I would love to go to Carlsbad Caverns. Have you ever been to Carlsbad Caverns, Richard? Familiar spirits. Way over on the west side on the Colorado River, don't believe I'm going to church anymore. Found too many lies. You don't want to open that book with me. Yeah. Um, yeah, Steven Anderson is a radical. He's really popular online. He's actually banned from a lot of countries, and he actually had his main channel banned from YouTube. because he's very outspoken against the LGBTQ community. Um, so he comes across as a hate preacher, basically. But he's a King James Bible preacher. And I think he's done a lot of good, but he's done a lot that's bad too. So it's I don't know. He's a very interesting character. Familiar spirits. Yeah, Cyndi Lauper. I guess she's a total nutter, which I should have known that. I guess, but she's a great singer and entertainer. But she was also into like tuning forks and some other weird stuff. Like I don't know why these people into rocks like that. Like, so you said yep. I guess that means that you've been to Carlsbad Caverns. That place just looks so awesome. All the stalactites or whatever. I guess does that really interest you too because you're into rocks and stuff? So do you do like mining? Mining would be hard work. I'm probably gonna find out that the post office is. It's probably gonna be a. Uh, oh god. The thing I like about the KJV is it still preaches the faith of Christ very much into spelunking. That sounds scary. You're talking about like going down deep into the caves. That sounds pretty adventurous. I think I'd be too scared to do that. Kind of freaks me out just going in the caves, period. But I've been to a cave in Cahokia, Missouri. It's called. It was a cavern. It's called Karamek Cavern. That was pretty cool. Of course, I've been to the Mark Twain Cave too, which is pretty popular around here. What is there to see in Arizona? Nevada's got like the Grand Canyon, Las Vegas, and all that. I know Steven Anderson in Tempe, Arizona. He goes to a lot of Indian reserves and stuff. Is there a lot of that in Arizona? You've been to Merrimack Caverns? Awesome. You've been down 300 feet? Yeah, that's scary. I really don't like the tight spaces either, like having to crawl through these tight spaces in the caves. I liked Merrimack Caverns. I still got pictures of that. They have little light shows and stuff. I remember at the end of Merrimack Caverns, they have like a projector on the cave, and they show the American flag, and they showed like a Bible verse. I don't remember what it was, but I've got a picture of it. That was pretty cool. Another cool thing about the post office is like I could basically like live anywhere, and there's all over the United States. It's like a job that I could transfer to another state or something. Not that I really see that happening, but it's a possibility, and it's kind of cool that it's possible, right? I have to drive like an hour and a half away from my training, and they want me to be there at 7:55. So I gotta leave at like 5:30 or something. I got to wake up at like 5, drink some coffee, and be ready. And they say the first part of the training is boring. You're just sitting at a desk, just listening to a lecture or watching a video or reading from pamphlet or whatever. Arizona has the Grand Canyon. I thought the Grand Canyon was in Nevada, or does it go across both of them? What don't you have in Arizona would be a better question. That's true. I haven't really looked into it a lot. Snow skiing. So it snows in Arizona? I thought you said you hated the snow in Illinois or something. What did you say? Hmm. Oh. Oh. Has anything been on your mind lately about the Bible or God? Or have you caught any big fish lately? Do you like to catch what do you like to eat what you catch, or do you just fish for sport? Or I don't really see the point in fishing for sport, really, but I'd want to eat what I catch. You worked up in the Chicago subs. Took me an hour and a half one way. Wow. Yeah, I live about 3 hours from Chicago, so it's a little ways for me. But I've been to a lot of events in the Chicago area. I've been to Chicago Heights. I've been to Oswego. I've been to Naperville. I've been to Berwyn. I took the train from Springfield to Chicago with a girl that I was with, and we didn't really make any plans or really have any money with us. We went to see a band that was playing at a pub called the Abbey Pub, which I guess it burned down. I guess it's not really doesn't exist anymore. And that was a crazy night because we had to walk from the train station to this pub, and it was a long walk. You're legally blind, can't drive anymore, so you're limited on what you can do. It sucks worse than Illinois. Yeah, that would suck. I probably will be from staring at screens all day long. It's probably not a good thing. Um, huh. What kind of fish do you like to catch? Catfish or bass? Have you ever been crappie fishing with a cane pole? I remember my dad always loved to fish when I was growing up, and I was never really big into fishing, which I want to be now. But when I was younger, I was all about being inside and playing video games and stuff. But not only that, my dad, it's like I'd want to talk or whatever, and then dad would always be like, "Oh, you'll scare the fish away" or whatever. So it's like, well, then screw this. I just want to go back inside. But so I guess I didn't really get a whole lot of excitement of it when I was younger, but I understand now. And plus, I just love to eat fish, so I would like to just catch them. But anyway, there was a time this guy took me crappie fishing with a cane pole, and I love that because I was catching fish like left and right, and so it was a lot more exciting than just sitting there being quiet and not even getting a bite or whatever. It was you know caught like tons of fish. Last winter was -40 for the whole month of February. Love crappie. Yeah, yeah, it was fun catching them when I was young because you go on those fishing trips where you don't get any bites like all night, and it's like, yeah, I could have been doing something else. Last winter was -40 for the whole month of February. Was that in Chicago? Yeah, I think I remember that. Wasn't too long ago, was it? That was like a record. Wasn't that like a few years ago or something? I remember like what was it, the lake or whatever in Chicago like froze basically. Like they were like telling people to stay inside, like businesses shut down and everything. That was pretty bad. I don't want to think about the cold winter. See, last year I had a problem with winter. I was working at Walmart and I went to first shift, which I knew was going to be terrible because I had to be there at 4 in the morning, and it's a 20-minute drive, and so I had to wake up at like 3 a.m., which is not the easiest thing for me to do. And plus a lot of other reasons. But on top of that, it was in the winter, and I would wake up at 3 in the morning, which is when it was like really freezing outside, and I could not get my door to shut because like the locking mechanism or whatever would like freeze up on it. And I even used a screwdriver and tried messing with it, and I would have problems trying to get it shut. So I called in a couple of days because of that, because maybe not the right thing for me to do, but I just was not in the mood to go to work in the first place. And then like when my door wouldn't shut in the morning, I was ticked off. And so I would just say, I'm going back to bed and I'm calling in sick. So I did it. But ain't nothing like getting into a school of crappie. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. One of my uncles was he loved fishing, and he also liked to smoke weed and drank at times, I guess. And anyway, he died. He drowned at a pretty young age. He was like in his 40s, I think. And he drowned in the Mississippi River, unfortunately. And I don't really know what happened. He had a guy with him, but he took some stupid risks, and he would like to get close to the dam and fish and stuff. And so I don't know what happened, but it's sad. He died young, and he was a good guy. And don't don't know what I can say that he was really a Christian, but he loved to fish, and he died doing it, I guess. So whenever I think about fishing a lot, I think about that too. He had a pontoon. Like he made fishing fun. Like sometimes my dad I didn't enjoy it as much with, but like my uncle, like he was fun. But yeah, it's nice going out on a pontoon boat. I like catfish, but the only fish that I mostly eat anymore is tilapia. Just buy it frozen from the store. So, but yeah, I love catfish. I've never cleaned a fish in my life, so that's why I really want to go fishing and I want to learn how to clean a fish. So, eventually, I'll get to do that. And the catfish have always, they've always been kind of intimidating because of their whiskers or whatever. That can be really sharp and cut you. You got to be careful with them. But I mean, I guess if you wear a glove or whatever, or if you know how to handle them, it's not really too hard. But they can be kind of dangerous. Wonder what kind of fish the Lord caught. What kind of fish was it, like in the Bible? What kind of fish do they have in Jerusalem? Were they eating crappie? Hmm. One of the big states that I always wanted to visit was Colorado. There's lots of states that I'd love to visit, but yeah, I mean, the Rocky Mountains I think are pretty awesome. Colorado's kind of been destroyed by liberals, though, unfortunately. So I don't know if it's as interesting as it used to be. But for the scenery, I've never really seen mountains, so I've always been interested in that. Hmm. You get crazy lightning storms in the deserts in Arizona. I'm gonna Google what kind of fish did Jesus eat. Did Jesus eat fish? What kind of fish did the risen Christ feed the apostles? Tilapia? They think it was tilapia. There are 27 species of fish in the Sea of Galilee, and of these, only 10 are prized by fishermen. These 10 species divide into three categories: the mushed, the sardine, the biny. Of these, the sardine is straight out because it's generally too small to catch in a net, and they were usually reserved for pickling, and we know that the apostles cooked their fish on the fire. John described the fish caught in the apostles' net as large, so we need to look at fish that are large enough to be caught in a net, while too big for the seven apostles to hoist out of the water. The biny is certainly large enough to be a candidate, as they can grow to about 4 feet long and weigh up to 25 pounds. However, the biny requires bait to catch, and thus it would require a hook and a line rather than a net. This brings us to the mushed type of tilapia that exists in 5 species within the Sea of Galilee. One of these varieties reaches about a foot and a half long wing and at 4 or 5 pounds. A haul of 153 of them would weigh upwards of 750 pounds, which could explain why the apostles could not pull the net from the water. It's generally identified as a fish which Peter caught, to such extent that natives to the region refer to it as St. Peter's fish. It was one of the most commonly caught fish in the biblical era, and hauls of them would be brought in by net. I don't know. If you go to all the new Bibles, look up Galatians 2:16, they say your faith in Christ. KJV says it's his faith. So he had faith that I'd be his before I had faith in him. That's how most of our forest fires start. Yep, we're on the fish. What is how most of the forest? Oh, the lightning. Oh yeah, yeah. I could look up that Galatians chapter. Galatians 2:16. Knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Jesus Christ. We have believed in Jesus Christ that we might be justified by the faith of Christ, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. By the faith of Christ. So you're taking that to mean Christ's faith, his own faith that belonged to him, not just in him or of him. I can't believe I've been streaming on here for an hour. I didn't intend to do that, but I was hoping that somebody would stop by and want to talk. It's actually midnight here in Illinois. Really. I used to look into a lot of the changes between the different versions, and I've kind of been out of it for a little while, so I don't remember. I don't know if I ever knew of those, but yeah. Well, one thing we know is that we're not justified by the works of the law. 10 here. Hey, what was Job's real name? I don't know. Do you know? Is that a trick question? Job's real name? You know, if you look it up on Wikipedia or whatever, some people believe that Job never existed as an actual person, and the book of Job was just a story that was passed down. They think about that as the same as Genesis. But I mean, don't they have a problem with identifying who wrote Job? But a lot of people think that it's Moses. You get all the scholars with this question. Well, you got me. I don't know what Job's real name is. I would just say Job or child of God. Is that what you're saying? What was his real name? Job? Oh, man. Okay. I think I'm going to get a soda. See, it's a little bit of a mess behind me, but that's okay. Oh my goodness. Oh. I don't know how much longer I can hang on here, man. You're killing me with suspense. I feeling kind of lazy, man. Is anybody else watching, lurking in here? You can say hi. I don't like mysteries, so hence I study the word. I diligently strive to get to the bottom. So you've discovered what Job's true name is. I'd like to. I was thinking I'd like to know what Job's age was when all this tragedy happened to him. Seemed like he was a pretty well off guy, huh? Did you get my job? My Job? No, I don't get what your point is. Is it a joke? About 30. Above the mystery sin is another one. You think he was about 30 years old? So what's Job's name? Well, Richard, I might get off of here because I don't think that I'm going to be very entertaining anymore. It's just been moments of silence. And I just kind of want to be lazy and relax, I guess. I just wanted to make a video and talk about my current situation with the job and stuff, but I want to do more live streams and discuss the Bible. Uh, thank God. Oh my God, thank God. Thank God that I got this job. So I needed this. So I hope it's going to work out good. It's going to have to. So I just hope that the next thing won't be, me praying to God for strength to make it through the day every day. Hopefully I'm gonna enjoy it to some degree. Moses mentions Job in Genesis 46:13. Really? He is the son of Issachar. Go to First Chronicles 7:1. Hmm. Jashub. That's interesting. I never heard of that before. But people can have the same name. Wasn't somebody with the same name? First Chronicles 7:1. First Chronicles 7:1. Tola Sherman. Oh, cool. Yeah, I never knew that. I see. So there's four sons, and all the names are the same except for Job is changed to Jashub. That's interesting. I never knew about that. Well, thanks for chatting, Richard. I think I'm going to get off of here. Jashub means he will return. Twice I sent you who Job was. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that Jashub replaces Job. It's interesting. I'd like to Google that and see what some other people have said about that as well. Jashub means he will return. These people want to preach to me. Yeah, but I don't know if it's such a significant point in the Bible, is it? But yeah, I mean, people who have studied it and went to college for it and everything, right? They should know. I got you. Nope, a lot of preachers, they just got their go to sermons, their go to passages, and that's all they care about. They don't even care about the finer details like that or, finding things or trying to find answers to questions. They just think they've got it figured out, basically. I don't know. Well, Richard, I think I'm going to get off of here. So thanks for chatting, man. Hopefully, I'll see you again on a stream. I'll try to get on a live stream again soon and maybe have something more to talk about. So I'll remember the conversation, friend. So enjoy the rest of your night. I'd like to come to you for some questions too. So hopefully another time, though. I'm sure that I could ask you plenty of questions. All right, man. Have a good night. I'm gonna get off of here. Thanks for chatting.